Well, I still can get the hang of me doing a presentation in the back parts of my house. I have my son doing his online schooling at the porch, and then my wife cooking sinigang.
Yeah.
It's something that, it goes with the time. It's something that needed to be done. It's something that I'm sure most of us are getting accustomed to. But before I start with the presentation per se, I'd like to give thanks also to PPA and of course for the event organizers. This is something that is going to be informative and that is needed by everyone here, that the users, the port users, and all the port stakeholders. And kudos also to my two co-panelists. I think the ports have been underrated in this times of pandemic. At the end of the day, all of us continue to be working 24/7, as what Justin said. We made the goods flow to the communities, to the barangays, even at the height of the pandemic. So I think we will continue doing that. I think it's essential that we continue doing that. Now, just to start off with my presentation, I'd like to give a brief overview of who Asian Terminals is. Foremost, it's one of two international ports in the metro. It's a Philippine Stock Exchange listed firm since 1996. It's part of the expansive port network of Dubai-based DP World. We've had roughly around 34 years of experience, expertise, and excellence. And our workforce is around 2,000, comprising of both local and foreign employees. Just to brief you on where we are at, or what the facilities that we operate in the Philippines. Foremost is, of course, Manila South Harbor. That is right at the center of Manila, and around 60 kilometers away from, or 120 kilometers away from Manila is the port of Batangas. Now, to complement the seaports are the landside facilities. We have the North Container Depot. We have the Santa Mesa Container Depot. We have ICD for laden boxes, storage facility, customs bonding facility, and of course, ECD Laguna, which is roughly around 2 kilometers away from ICD and around 3-4 kilometers, around 50 kilometers away from the port of Batangas. In terms of how strategic these are, please note that this is Manila and this is Batangas. In between this area, or in between the 120, 110 stretch of road between Batangas and Manila are the economic zones. So when you talk of these economic zones, you are talking of the likes of Hondas, the Toyotas, the Epsons, the Brothers, etc. So strategically, what we have done is put a port that is closest or closer to the likes of those locators or manufacturers. If you are a locator situated here, there's no point of you going all the way down to Manila, but in fact, you can move all your shipments and transship from the port of Batangas. I think that has helped. You talk about traffic now. Imagine if there was no Batangas port, or if there was no Subic port for that matter, traffic would have been a lot worse. At the end of the day, Batangas is now doing around 250,000 containers on a per year basis. Traditionally, this 250,000 used to go to Manila. So it happened. I think it was, if I look back 2014, that's when cargo started gravitating towards the port of Batangas. And it made sense. Even after the congestion, cargoes remained in Batangas, gravitated, in fact, more towards Batangas, especially for those locators, firms that make sense that they make use of the port of Batangas. Innovations, the new norm. I think also it's important to understand that the trade ratio in the Philippines, for every 4 containers that come in as imports, raw materials or FMCGS, only 1 goes out as export. So on any given day, if we have like 500 import boxes, only around 100 is being loaded out for outbound, meaning there are 400 boxes, empties, that are either clogging your roads, traffic, depots, or mounted on the trucks. Early in 2018, 2019, early part of 2019, we had managed to think of a way wherein we can move the empties out of Manila and into other shortage areas. Now, this happened without, it wasn't easy. We needed to have like around initially 6 shipping lines to buy along with the idea. And eventually the idea was sold. If you have a look at my PowerPoint slide here, prior the Empty Loadout Shipping Alliance, that's what we call the project, or for short we call it ELSA. If there is a shipping line that is berthed here at the Port of Manila, you can only load empties that are belonging to that shipping line. So if that shipping line is calling the port like every 7 days, when they get delayed, it's every 10 days. You have a scenario where one, the terminal is filled up with empties, and that means I cannot take in more empties coming from the consignees, coming from the roads. And there goes the issue on the logistics issue on consignees not being able to pick up because there are trucks inside. But immediately after the ELSA was signed by the different member lines, this is how it is now. Primarily, any of the member lines, when they get berthed at POM, can load any of their empties. So what you have is a scenario where every day I have 9 member lines, and every day I have 1 or 2 member lines that are berthed alongside my key. Every day, empties are moving out. Empties are moving out, effectively reducing the dwell day of empties at the port. And this is critical. You talk about congestion in the past, that's primarily because of the empties not being able to get in and not being able to get out. But with this ELSA project that we have right now, you have a scenario where every day containers are getting out of the port into a common shortage area defined by the member lines. And specifically, when I talk of common shortage areas, these are the likes of Shanghai, Qingdao, Shekou, Kaohsiung, and any other ports where demand for export products are high. So instead of the containers sitting idle here in Manila, they get to move out on a regular basis, daily for that matter. If you have a look at my loadout since 2020, effectively by January, it was averaging around 48,000 TEUs per month. Of course, it went down because this volume is going to be commensurate to the imports that are coming in. Due pandemic, of course, imports went down. So this volumes that you see here actually went down, but started going up towards August, September, October. This is a good sign because primarily manufacturers are operating at higher levels of capacity. People are getting accustomed with working safely despite the strict government quarantine measures put forth by the government, which is justified because of the pandemic. So this is how we are doing as far as empty loadout. Now, I think Justin was saying a while ago about digitalization. Yes, our partner government agencies have pushed hard for digitalization, primarily to avert the spread of the COVID virus. ATI is not left behind. We have the e-payment portals, just like the other port has. Our partner banks include BDO, Metrobank, and we are continuously talking to other banks so that we can have more of them on board. We have the WebTrack and import facility. This basically gives you visibility over your cargoes for as long as you have Wi-Fi connectivity. It gives you visibility on when the cargoes are arriving, whether they have gated out, or whether they're still being held at customs for OLRS. So all this information are available, provided you have connectivity. And also there's the tabs and the terminal appointment booking system. Admittedly, this has helped both terminals in ensuring that productivity inside the yard is improved from what it was before. Before it was kind of Jurassic. Sorry for the word. But the scenario before was in a 2-hour span, you have like 500, 800 trucks going to the terminals. So what we have basically is a scenario where there are long queues at the gates, and the terminal per se would have quite a number of trucks that are inside waiting to be worked on, which for a terminal operator is not as safe as it should be. With tabs, what happened was there's an orderly arrival now. There's a defined number of trucks that can come into your port every hour. So the transactions are basically spreading out in a 24/7 basis. So that's what tabs is all about. Um, I was talking about the e-payment stats, and these are the online payment facilities that API has. And this is consistent with what I think Justin presented. If you have a look at the blue and call it brown line here, from September 1 to 30 of this year. And these numbers are reminiscent or indicative also of what it was previously, even before September. E-payment, much like ICTSI, has been with us since since 2015. But for some reason, it hasn't gotten as much traction as it should have been. So yes, because of the pandemic, because of the push, this has been fast-tracked. I would not like to call it a paradigm shift because it's been there already. It's just that it's only now that port users, people are seeing that it is the direction, it is the way to go, and that we should not be left behind. Sadly, we are, I think, one of the countries that are way far back when it comes to digitalization. And it's important that we continue doing this or we get to be left behind. If you have a look at this, from September 1 to 30, this indicates the non-e-payment transactions that we have, or meaning those over the counters. But effectively, this is the e-payment. So see, it's 7%, 11%. And only when we strictly implemented the e-payment did it get traction. October 13 to 23, it became 40%. And October 24 to November, it became 59%. The 40% here, though, would include the BDR payment process, similar to the ADR payment process of the other port. It's still not an e-payment mode of payment because it would still entail a lot of verification on the part of my tellers, of the terminal operator. What I would like to see happening is for this brown to go as high as 90 and 100 moving forward. And I think that is the direction, and that is going to happen sooner than later. When I get to talk to the port users every now and then via forums, of course via telephone calls, I think most of them, if not all, are already familiar. The issue that we have had from the get-go was initially due to user familiarization, but since then, that has improved, and I see the number of those using the e-payment module to be increasing steadily, and that is the direction that we should go if we want to continue to be up and about. Okay, just to see where we are at. This is the port. It's the import-export process for the ports. This is the port of Manila, the port of Batangas. The blue arrow here shows the import side. Basically, upon discharge, it goes to the clearinghouse, which is the Bureau of Customs. And like what I was saying a while ago, we now have a facility, if you're in Batangas, where you can actually store your cargoes, your containers for JIT purposes. Meaning, this facility here, the Inland Clearance Depot, is right smack in the middle of locators or of manufacturing firms. If you have a cargo that you need to be there and needs to be picked up just in time, what you do is discharge and bring it to ICD and then pick them up. It's a bonded facility. Pick them up if you're going to use it already. Then from this, From the clearinghouse, it goes ICD or it goes to the plant, after which it goes back to the Bureau of Customs and then to the ports if it's for exports, or you can bring it one to a depot that is situated near our area, either empty container yard in Laguna. We have NCD also in Manila, or bring it to the terminal directly. It's important to know, I was saying a while ago that for every 4 containers that come in, only 1 container goes out as export. If I take my year-to-date both ports volumes right now, roughly around 1 million, only 300,000 containers are for exports or to be used for exports. So the 700,000 containers, they would need an area where they could be positioned easily, immediately to shortage areas. They need to go out of the country. And I think the terminal, both ports, offer that platform to the shipping lines. Otherwise, you'll get plugged with empties all over. And we would not want that. We would not want that. Also, for the port of Batangas, Malaysia side, we're handling most of the CBU or the car imports coming from all over. We have a storage facility that was built or inaugurated since 2-3 years ago. Your cars get to be stored here, and then it's a one-stop shop. We have a pre-delivery inspection, after which the consignees get to pick up the units. Now you get to pick it up either via delivery to the zone dealers, via car carriers, the trucks, or via domestic ro-ros. Again, I go back, Batangas port would probably have the largest car carrier port in the Philippines. 13,000 cars at any one time can be stored. It handles majority of the car brands. In fact, the Toyotas, the Suzukis, the Hondas before. It's within a few kilometers of the distributors, and it's well connected to local market through domestic ro-ros, and that is happening right now. So you talk about opportunity, you talk about one-stop shop and connectivities. This is primarily what we have in Batangas. Moving forward, we are preparing for a bigger and better Batangas port, ready for full economic opening post-pandemic. This is a layout of the Batangas passenger port. Basically, what you will have is an increased capacity from 2 million to 4 million annual passengers. That's capacity. You'll have a one-stop shop, a commercial one-stop shop, in fact, where you'll have restaurants, and probably you'll have other areas, lounge that passengers can wait in convenience while they wait for their roros or their fast crabs to be coming in. So this is basically what API is all about, what we have been doing, and these are the opportunities that we have seen moving forward. I forgot to mention about the crew change activity. We have also done that in the Port of Manila. If I'm not mistaken, we have done number one, repatriation for more than 200, 300 cruise ships already. I mean, calls. We've done more than 200 ship crew as well, crew change. It continuously is happening still. Yes, I go back to what the engineer was saying a while ago, earlier during the presentation. It's one thing to get the Filipinos back to where they are, back to their home countries, especially at this point of the pandemic. I'd like to thank you again for giving us the opportunity to do this. That is my presentation per se. So thank you. Thank you.